What's going on, everyone? In this video today, we're going to go over how you can get stronger without gaining weight. So as always, let's get right into the video. Alrighty, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to another video and checking out my channel. If you are new here to the channel and you don't know who I am, my name is Aaron Kamesi. I'm a powerlifting coach, athlete, referee, and meet director. So I make videos here on this channel to help out those groups of people. As the intro suggested, in this video today, we're going to go over a question that was asked about how you can make strength gains without necessarily increasing your body weight. And the first thing I want to mention that there are benefits to increasing your body weight as well, either within your weight class to fill out that weight class or going on to the next weight class. A lot of people hinder their own progress thinking they have to stick in the first weight class they started, or they have to go down a weight class, because if they can maintain that same total and go down a weight class, they'll be more competitive than their current weight class, or maybe going up. But the thing is that you're maybe hindering your progress because you're limiting the amount of muscle mass you can put on, or maybe even decreasing the amount of mass you currently have. And so you may be focusing on the short-term benefits, or maybe you think you're going to be competitive more in the short term for upcoming competition or the upcoming year, and then limiting your long-term development of how much muscle you can put on and how much stronger you can get. So just something to think about, that there are lifters. The one I always mention is Bryce Lewis, who was in the 93 kilo weight class, and he had a couple different factors for the change, but one of them is that he went from the 93s to the 105s. He put on more muscle mass, he filled out his frame more, improved his leverages, and then he went from, being maybe a top 15, top 10 as a 93 at nationals to going to being the top 3 in the national champion and world champion in the 105 kilo class. So just something to think about. But in this video, we're gonna go over 3 things that you can do so that you can gain strength without putting on body weight. All right, method number 1, and something I talk about often on this channel, is improving your technique. So anyone who remembers back when they first started lifting, or maybe they first got into powerlifting, they probably had this situation come up on one of the lifts where maybe you have crappy form, and let's say you have a 100-pound max on the squat, and then you go see someone who maybe is a professional in either exercise science, powerlifting, whatever, someone who knows what they're doing when it comes to that specific lift and can improve your technique. So they may adjust you a little bit here and there. They'll tell you, okay, take off these shoes, okay, switch the bar to this position, think about this, and they improved the position that you're in throughout the range of motion and put you in a more optimal position as far as your stance width, bar position, everything like that. And all of a sudden in that session, in that single day, your max may have gone up from 100 pounds to, let's say, 135 pounds, maybe some people 150 pounds. So did you actually put on more muscle and get stronger to be able to put on 50 pounds on your squat in a single day, or even in a single hour? No, what happened is that you improved your technique, making yourself more efficient in that movement. So with the muscle that you currently have and the strength levels you currently have, you can move more weight through that distance, okay? So the weight on the bar is only one factor, but how you are moving that weight, what position are you in? Is it over your midfoot? Is it in front, everything like that? You can change how difficult that weight actually is and how much work you have to do. One way you can think about it is if you just grab a dumbbell and you hold it down by your side, by your waist, okay? You're gonna be able to hold that forever. It's gonna be easy. 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds, you're gonna hold that fine. Now, put that dumbbell in front of you, like a static front raise. That 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds is gonna start getting heavy. You're gonna feel your front delts working, and your arm is gonna go down and you're gonna lose it. The weight's the same, it's 20 pounds regardless of what position it's in, but the position that it's in changes the load on the muscles or joint, and it's going to change how difficult it is and how much effort your body has to put to maintain that position or move it even through a position. So it's the same thing for a squat, bench press, or deadlift. If you're moving 100 pounds, okay, and you're going very forward of the midfoot, you're going in front of your toes and you're going forward, using a lot of your lower back to kind of pull you back into position and lock it out, it's going to be very difficult even if you have the strength for more, because you are not efficient in that position. But now if you get a professional, someone comes and fixes your position and tells you how to stay balanced and everything like that, and move in a more vertical bar path or to midfoot, now that 100 pounds is going to move much more efficiently, and it's going to take a lot less effort, which means that you can do more weight. So that's how you get to maybe 135 or 150 pounds. So technique is a very big factor, especially early on, okay? So there's diminishing returns with all this stuff, but if you have really bad technique early on, or maybe you're intermediate, you may want to take a step back, fix your technique so you're in a more efficient position for any or all of the lifts, so that then your muscles and whatever weight you currently are at, you can push more weight through that same range of motion using a better movement pattern. Once you get to more advanced levels, if your technique is really honed in, like I said, diminishing returns. Improving your technique may do a little to nothing, and at that point you have to go to some of the other method. Method number 2 just can be like, training and programming specifically for your sport and what your sport entails to really basically hone in what your muscles need to do. For example, you can improve force production of muscles. You can also improve like within a muscle, how the different muscle fibers, how many contract and whether they work together, and also the different muscles. If you are working on a bench press, your pecs, your delts, your triceps working together in unison to press a certain weight. So this is a little bit different than technique, but you can improve these things like force production and rate coding, and you don't have to necessarily increase your body weight. What you just need to do is train more and in that specific rep range as close as possible to whatever you're doing. So for the sport of powerlifting, you want to be doing the squat, the bench press, and deadlift in the lower rep ranges and higher intensities so you can improve those things. And again, early on, you may be making big progress off of this, and you may see this, for example, if you track velocity, or if you look at studies that track velocity for beginner versus elite lifters, and you'll see that beginner lifters cannot go at slower speeds. They tend to, be fast, and then you add a little bit of weight, and then they just, can't push through their sticking point. They can't stay with it. Their force production just isn't quite there. And so then their velocity just goes down to 0. So maybe for a squat, they can get down to like, 0.3 meters per second. Then you go look at elite level lifters and they do the same thing. And you'll see that they're able to push through those sticking points. They're able to maintain their position. They're able to produce a lot of force at slower velocities, and they can keep pushing through. And instead of having that, 0.3 meters per second, maybe they get to 0.2 meters per second or 0.15 meters per second. And so, they can again produce a lot of force, they can recruit a lot of muscle fibers, and they can continue to have those muscle fibers contract and continue to push them through their sticking point and be able to lock it out. So early on, when someone starts lifting weights for the very first time, they're going to improve this again a lot, and it's going to help with building their max. And then over time, it's going to level off, and you're not going to make as much progress as you're improving those factors. And so then it's going to take longer time to improve those factors and longer time to progress, but it's still possible without gaining body weight. All right, and the third factor is going to be adjusting your body weight in a shorter timeline or time period. And this goes kind of into like how the question is worded. So it depends. Are you saying you don't want to change your body weight within a year or 6 months, or you don't want to even change it within a single day? But if you're trying to stay in your weight class and not increase over time, 6, 12, 18 months, you can still adjust your body weight within that time period where the average is going to be staying at your same body weight. So like one thing you can do for maybe a few weeks or a few months is try and put on body weight, focusing on trying to increase as much muscle mass as possible while limiting the amount of body fat you're putting on. Then you flip it, and for a few weeks or a few months, you try and decrease your body weight, trying to maintain as much muscle mass as possible while trying to decrease as much body fat as possible. So now you're back down to the same weight, let's say 200 pounds, but your body fat percentage is gonna be lower, your muscle mass is gonna be higher. And so now you have more muscle mass to work with at the same body weight. And so now you're gonna be able to have the potential to be stronger and push more weight, because if you have a bigger cross-sectional area of muscle mass, the potential for that to produce more force and lift more weight in the squat, bench press, and deadlift is going to be higher. You can do the same thing the other way too. Like if you are at a higher body fat percentage, you can spend some time first going down, trying to lose as much body fat as possible, maintaining muscle mass. And then once now you're at the lower body fat percentage, then you can flip it and try and build back up and fill up your weight class, putting on more muscle mass and limiting the amount of body fat you're putting on. In addition, if you just walk around at your weight class limit or just below it, you can look into putting on a little bit of muscle mass and body weight above your weight class and then doing water cuts going in. So a lot of top lifters, they do water cuts the week of the competition to just basically get down to their weight class for a shorter time period as possible and then go up. So maybe that's something that you want to do if it's not something you implement, is walk around a little bit above your weight class so you can have more muscle mass to be able to get stronger. And then you just do the water cut to basically just make weight the day of and then get back to your normal body weight. All right, so there are ways that you can get stronger without increasing body weight. And when you are a beginner, it's gonna be easier to do. As you get to more elite advanced levels, it's gonna be more difficult to do, but still you can improve your technique. You can improve basically your force production, your rate coding, your ability of your muscles to contract and move more weight. And also you can manipulate your body weight in a shorter time period, whether it is doing a water cut or maybe doing just a regular bulk and cut to basically basically be more efficient by having less body fat and higher muscle mass at the same body weight. And as I mentioned at the beginning, when you're trying any of these methods, you also want to be sure that you're not doing this to basically hinder your progress and focus more on short-term gains rather than long-term development. So first, focus on the long-term development of where you think your body weight should be when you fill it out completely and be most competitive in the long term. But then you can also use these strategies more in the short term if you are looking also for, short-term competitiveness. If you're trying to make national team, you're trying to, win a world or something like that, and there's going to be a shorter term goal and a longer term career for you for powerlifting. And if you're looking to improve your technique on the squat, bench press, and or the deadlift, I have a squat tips playlist, a bench press tips playlist, and a deadlift tips playlist. I'll put those links down in the description below, and I also have the video here for the squat tips playlist and the video here for the bench press tips playlist that you click on and go directly to that playlist so you can learn how to improve your technique on that specific lift so you can be more efficient and gain more strength while staying the same body weight. But other than that, hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you in that next video.